What up, guys? Your boy Quake back with a brand new episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast, number 413. I hope you guys have been having an amazing week. And yes, we're back on regularly scheduled programming. Technically, I'm sometimes recording these episodes Thursday night, sometimes recording them Friday morning. When I record them Friday morning, they usually come out a little bit later than planned. It just depends on the schedule of what I'm doing. And it's been pretty brutal these past, I don't know, man, month and a half, 2 months, basically. A lot of things have been just kind of random, things happen here left and right, business-wise, personal life-wise. So hopefully we can get back on normal schedule pretty soon here. Not really that much news, man, to be honest with you. It hasn't really been a crazy, I even want to say like past month. Maybe there's been stuff here and there, but it's been pretty quiet, man. I feel like the beginning of 2026 started out way funner, I guess. I don't know. Now it's been kind of just things here and there. But one thing that I want to talk about immediately is Bone Thugs and Harmony. They officially got their Hollywood Walk of Fame star. So round of applause to them. I mean, Bone Thugs and Harmony is arguably one of the best hip hop groups, and they've revolutionized the flow that eventually Migos ended up using, and then they called it the Migos flow. And what else? The rapping and singing. I felt like they were the early ones to do that as well. What's funny is I remember having a conversation with Chamillionaire because I talked to him when we did our little brand deal that I had. And he was nice enough to let me talk to him for like basically an hour, man. We were just talking hip hop. We're talking cool stuff. And I was like, man, Chamillionaire, I really love when you rap and sing. And I just remember him saying like, nah, man, I don't even do that. I don't even do that. Nothing. Like, I don't do that good at all. He was like, that's Bone Thugs and Harmony and Drake. He's like, but me, he was like, nah, that ain't my cup of tea. But I was like, bro, you do that like well when you have, like, there's a record, I think on Mixtape Messiah 5, I want to say. Let me see. I'm actually going to check my phone now so you guys can actually listen to it. I might actually play it on the mic right here because I don't think it's copyrighted. But on that record, towards the end, he has this like cool harmonizing thing that he does. And I'm like, damn, I wish this would have extended on the actual track, So let me see. I'm going to see if I can find this right here. Might be this one. My Life. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, let me see.
I wake up every day and grind like the day before, grinding for sure. Don't try to play or hate on how I get my dough. Let me get my dough. They should have told me how boys play the game so cold. Play the game so cold. But I ain't tripping, man. Wanna paper chase, let's go. Ready, let's go.
So yeah, that's not really like fully singing, but it's just melodically, like he has dope shit like that where I was like, he didn't like, he would lean on it, but then he won it. And I'm just like, I wish, when I remember having that conversation, I wish he would have leaned on it more, but I don't know how I got from Bone Thugs and Harmony, but yeah, he was just basically giving props to Bone Thugs and Harmony. And, they're the first ones, I think, to really lean in on that singing and rapping more. So they deserve their praise. And obviously, shout out to Eazy-E for being the genius to discover them and sign them. And then, unfortunately, he passed away. But I'm sure he probably would have took them to a different level, too, if he was alive. They did their thing. I'm not discrediting them, saying that they didn't like succeed. But they probably would have been at an even bigger level if Eazy-E was there. Because Eazy-E saw the vision early. I'm sure he would have curated it and planned things out. And there are often times where I wonder, I'm just like, man, if this artist was alive, how would have things panned out in the music world? And yeah, Eazy is one of those. Obviously, Tupac, Nipsey, Pop Smoke is one that I'm like, man, if he was still here, he would have been the leader of the new generation. I feel like he would have been dominating because that guy was a star in and out, like everything, man. He had the charisma, he had the style, he had the flow, the delivery, the worldwide presence from bringing the UK sound to America. He would have been a whole different level, but yeah, man, I don't know if you believe in alternate realities and areas and shit like that, whatever, but in an alternate world, these people are alive and something's totally different in the music world. But in our reality, they're not. So, yeah, big round of applause, man, the Bone Thugs and Harmony. I'm glad also Crazy Bone and everybody else health-wise is great and back on track. So maybe we get some new music from them or something because of this. But, yeah, big shout out to them for accomplishing this. Updates on Lil Durk's murder for hire case. And it turns out that split murder charges that he wanted isn't being granted by the feds. So let's go over the article. Lil Durk's legal team has been working overtime to try to beat his murder for hire case, but with the trial kicking off next month and the feds presenting new charges, it's looking even more like an uphill battle. After the rapper's team filed a request to split charges or get the case tossed, the government made it clear that he would have to go through trial. According to All Hip Hop, Durk's team initially asked to separate the recently filed gang murder charge from the original murder for hire tied to Lil Pub's death. The argument surrounded how the new charges could force a trial delay and infringe on Durk's right to a speedy trial. He's already spent more than 21 months behind bars since his arrest. That's crazy. Time flies, bro. Insane. 21 months, nearly 2 years. However, the government opened its filing with a reminder of how Durk was booking flights with his co-defendants when his co-defendants were arrested in Chicago and ultimately arrested by the tarmac of a private jet. Moreover, they argue that each count that he's charged with shares similar evidence. If they were to split the trials, then it would require witnesses to testify twice. There have already been issues regarding witness tampering, specifically with reports of threats towards witnesses and their families, plus the issue of photos from the inside courtroom making their way online. Ultimately, they argued that requiring these witnesses to repeat their testimony in multiple trials strongly militates in favor of a joint trial. That's actually pretty reasonable, actually, now that I'm reading it like that. If these people do tie to the one that happened in LA and there is a clear tie to all this stuff, then honestly, I don't see no issue with them bringing it in. Initially, I was kind of against that because I was like, why would you that's not fair, basically, is what I'm saying. But because some of these people tie into all these other, cases, then it kind of makes sense, man, the way they worded it like that. That actually, and the feds apparently agree. The report also says that prosecutors cited the murder of Stefan Mack in their response to Durk's request, specifically in how it re-entered the trial. Two men pleaded guilty in separate federal cases to the charge while admitting that they tried to collect a bounty for Mack's death from Durk. This includes a text message revealing how they waited for Durk to return to Chicago and recorded a confession from behind bars, both of which prosecutors say wouldn't have entered the case had they not secured the convictions first. Additionally, there was allegedly a text from Durk where he asked everyone to delete thread and start a new one over concerns surrounding the police investigation. Ultimately, prosecutors pinned the long investigation on Durk, claiming that he tried to conceal evidence and even asked for the trial to be pushed back from 2024 to October 2025. We'll keep you posted on any further updates. Yeah, man, crazy. I don't think things are going his way. I'm going to be honest, man. I don't think Durk's getting out of this. I really don't. If people are turning on him and there's solid evidence, it's over. And it's sad because Durk made some fucking dope music. I'm a huge fan of Durk's music. After he left, what was the kind of year period where his music sucked? It was when he signed to Def Jam and he dropped his debut album. I enjoyed that. That was a great album. And then kind of after that, he went more the female lovey-dovey route. And I was just I was not feeling it. And then as 2019 started to creep around, and that's really when King Von started being around him a lot more of the street music came out, which is dope. But the problem with that is he was allegedly actually doing this street stuff. There are a lot of rappers that rap about street stuff, but I've been disconnected from it for years and decades. I have no problem with an artist rapping about street stuff that they haven't done in a long time. I have no issue with that. I don't think after a certain point, it's hey, I used to do this, so I know about this, so I can rap about it and talk about it. But doing it and rapping about it while you're doing it, dumb thing. Durk should have been way disconnected from this. By the time he got to the major label, I understand the first album, if he was connected to still stuff like street stuff. But once he got to the second or third album, you should have been way disconnected, because the first album, I get it. You're just getting into the industry. You sign your deal. You're dropping these. You dropped the record with Jeremiah, which is more of a lovey-dovey record. You drop one street record. You're still in the industry fresh. You're still going to have some type of street ties that you want to eventually not disconnect fully, but step away from. There needs to be separation because the smart artists did that. They still had some street ties, but it was more way distant from them where they couldn't get connected to it. It was through a person, through another person, through another person versus that person to that, street person. But yeah, I guess we'll stay updated and see what happens. But it's like I said, man, it's never going to look good for this. It's looking terrible, but we'll see what happens. 50 Cent has lost in court right now. And, all that money he brags about spending on lawyers. This isn't a good look, Fifth. You spend like $1 million a year on lawyers and you're losing. Can't be doing that, man. Get the better lawyers, man. But he says 50 Cent has hit a setback in his ongoing legal battle with his ex-girlfriend, Shaniqua Tompkins, which is the baby mother of his first child, which he doesn't have a relationship with. According to Billboard, a New York appeals court has denied the rapper's attempt to secure a default judgment in his lawsuit against Tompkins after she allegedly failed to respond to the complaint in time. The court ruled on Thursday, July 9th, that there wasn't enough evidence to show Tompkins had even been properly served with the lawsuit in the first place. The defendant's excuse for the delay in responding, that she did not receive the summons and complaint, was reasonable, the court wrote. They noted that 50 Cent failed to prove she lived at any of the addresses where service had been attempted. The lawsuit was filed by 50 Cent's publishing company, G-Unit Books, in 2025 after Tompkins posted a series of Instagram videos discussing Sean Diddy Combs' federal criminal trial. In the clips, Tompkins also spoke about 50 Cent's infamous 2000 shooting and his long-running history with Diddy. The rapper claims that those videos violated a 2007 agreement in which Tompkins allegedly sold him the exclusive rights to her life story in perpetuity. Tompkins, however, has challenged the validity of that agreement. She is arguing through her attorneys that she signed it under coercion and intimidation, which, we talked about this before. Last month, 50 Cent's legal team urged the appeals court to rule in their favor by default because of Tompkins' delayed response. During oral arguments, however, judges appeared skeptical of that request, questioning whether she had ever received notice of the lawsuit. With the appeals court rejecting the motion, the case will now continue through the normal legal process rather than ending in an early victory for 50 Cent. The ruling does not determine whether the 2007 agreement is enforceable or whether Tompkins ultimately violated its terms. Those issues are now to be decided as the litigation moves forward. 50 Cent's company allegedly paid Shaniqua Tompkins $80,000 for the exclusive rights to her life story. He claims the deal was intended to prevent her from profiting off their shared history. It remains to be seen how things will play out in court. We have considered plaintiffs' remaining contentions and find them unavailing, the court explained. I mean, listen, man, with celebrities or any type of people that you work with, there usually is, not work with, but I'm not saying like she worked with him, but, after they basically are not a couple anymore, that's basically what it is. It's a working relationship with the kid. And these celebrities try to protect their image because there's a lot of people that work around them and they see things and hear stories and participate in things that aren't the best look for their image. So that's why there's a confidentiality agreement, usually when people work for celebrities, 9 times out of 10. And it's a slippery slope because when you sign that, there's only so much you can say about the person. And if something goes wrong, what can you say and what can't you say? But we'll see. 50 lost because he couldn't prove, or at least his legal team couldn't prove that they properly served her with documents for her to show up to court. So that's the ruling. It's not that he lost the actual case in total, but hey, man, one thing that caught my attention is the word perpetuity. If you ever see that word in any type of deal, run far away because that word means for life. You are stuck under that contract or binding or whatever for life. As long as you're alive and breathing, that shit's going to be active. So that word's a cancer to me in business. Stay away from the perpetuity word, please. Any way, shape, or form, stay away from that word. The second somebody says it, run away, hide. Doesn't matter what kind of money they're offering you, get out of there. Because for life, no, nothing. Don't ever give up anything for life. I don't give a fuck what kind of money they're offering you. Because if they want it for life, there's a huge value in it. And I've had some deals where people threw that word perpetuity to me. And automatically, there's nothing to discuss for me. It's done. I don't care what money's being thrown at me. I don't care about anything. When I do these sponsorship deals, at least I haven't done one in a long time, but when I did do these sponsorship deals, they would try to throw in the contract that they want to use my likeness, my sponsorship video in perpetuity for their ads. In perpetuity, meaning forever. My likeness. Fuck no. You're not going to use my likeness forever. This is a contract. We do this for 1 year, 2 year deal. You pay me. I promote your product. That's it. Nothing longer than 2 years. So if you want to use me more, no Diddy. Cut a bigger check. That's all it is, man. So yeah, stay away from the perpetuity word. Speaking of lawsuits, issues, money owed, this was an interesting lawsuit. Jermaine Dupri has sued Sony for $18 million. Why? Let's get into it. Sony's facing a lawsuit over alleged misconduct. While we look at the powerhouse record labels in hip-hop and R&B, So Def certainly comes to mind. Jermaine Dupri established one of the most pivotal labels in the recording industry in the early 90s, releasing records from Bow Wow, Escape, Crisscross, and more. The label entered an agreement with Sony Music Entertainment in May 1992, but since then, Jermaine Dupri claims they haven't properly paid out his royalties. According to Variety, Dupri filed a lawsuit against Sony Music Entertainment, accusing them of misconduct. He said that he first suspected that he didn't receive full royalty payments from the company 3 years ago. Attorneys for the producer claim Sony practiced willful, deceitful actions designed to harm plaintiffs in their business through underreporting royalties and updating them retroactively, which impacted So Def. The lawsuit outlines So Def's dealings with Sony before its 2002 buyout. So Def initially signed a label agreement with Sony for releases for their artists before entering a joint venture deal in 1997. After its buyout, So Def went on to release albums from Bow Wow and Jagged Edge through deals with other companies, including Artista, UMG, and EMI. The lawsuit provides a lengthy look at the royalties alleged owed to Dupri from Sony Music. This includes over $1 million in unpaid producer royalties for Da Brat's Funkified and another $960,000 for Escape's Hummin' Coming At Ya. In addition to that, there's alleged underreported royalties connected to albums from Mariah Carey, Bow Wow, Usher, Jaquan, and more. Plus, Dupri claims that he's owed $10 million in interest from unpaid royalties connected to the other artists that he's worked with. That's crazy, and this is why I say it's important to audit record labels at least every 3 to 5 years, because they are stealing some type of money. And I'm not going to say somebody's name because there's somebody that I've helped behind the scenes, an artist who's actually pretty big. My video, the one I was talking about, when I did the album sales thing on my Instagram on Diverse Mentality, and I was doing like these RIAA record sales haven't been updated. And then I did a video talking about like the Game getting mad at me for talking about his sales. But then the video I say, hey, like Game, this is a message to you to audit your record label because clearly there's money missing. Now, it wasn't Game that reached out to me when that video came out. It was another artist, and I can't say their name. I don't want to put their information out there, but he reached out to me. It was like, wow, I saw that. I had no idea about that. And is there any way you can help me? I'm like, legally, I don't know shit like about record labels. I'm not going to pretend and be like this lawyer. So I told him, to be honest with you, I don't really know a lot, but if you need help in any way, shape, or form, I can try and figure out. So behind the scenes, I was helping that artist recoup. Bro, that guy had like, I don't know what the amount was. I didn't see the full amount. He didn't show me everything, but he had like 4.3 million in unpaid money. And the thing about this artist is he hasn't been relevant in a long time, but he had hit records. And the sad part is like that money that was unpaid, like it would have helped him for a lot of his bills. And, he found money on one side, just 4.3 million on one side. Now imagine all the other stuff. And audits take a long time. So this didn't happen overnight. When that video came out, it was probably, when did I release that video? I don't even know. Let me see. Because I know he reached out to me like in February or March or something like that. The one with the Game where I'm talking about his album sales and all that shit. That's what the one I want to talk about. Let's see. This was 8 months ago. Yeah, so I knew it was a really long time ago. Yeah, so this is November 2025. I believe he reached out to me in February, March, maybe January. I could be wrong. Somewhere in the beginning of 2026. And yeah, a lot of information was figured out. Audits take a lot of time, but he managed on one of them to kind of spew out the information very quickly. Millions of dollars there. So audit, man, any artist right now, whether you're independent, big, small, whatever, if you can't afford to audit, put that money in, audit, because these labels are not just going to hand their money, whatever they make off you, freely. Even if they do, question it, because you don't know. They're probably giving you the money and they're paying it on time, but they're probably not giving the percentages that you're owed. And this is the problem. This is with me. When you do business with me, I'm transparent. All the money that's being made, you can see it right in front of you. Hey, this is my split, or this is what I'm owed. That's it. There's nothing that I'm hiding. I don't believe in hiding any. There's what I'm owed, what I work for, and what is mine, and that's it. I don't want any penny more, and I don't want any penny less. But most people don't have morals and integrity, unfortunately. A lot of people still want to hoard money. These labels make billions and billions and still want to hoard more money from artists. They don't care. So shout out to Jermaine Dupri. I hope this goes well for him. And this is what it's about, suing these labels. More artists need to do it because they're not getting paid properly. And unfortunately, some of them are struggling because of that. So we'll keep our eyes posted and see what happens moving forward with this. Updates on Nipsey Hussle's estate, and it looks like his kids are actually getting paid, which is amazing. It's beautiful. Let's go over the article. The kids will reportedly receive interest in Nipsey Hussle's business ventures. It's hard to believe that it's been 7 years since the passing of Nipsey Hussle. Since then, we've witnessed legal battles spill out into the public eye regarding his estate and his kids' inheritance. However, after reaching a resolution in 2025, his children have received their share of the inheritance. According to TMZ, Imani, 17, and Cross, 9, have been paid out their share from the estate in both cash and other assets. The estate is reportedly worth $11 million and run by Black Sam, Nipsey's brother. It remains unclear how much each kid received since the amount was sealed. However, TMZ reports that both children received 50%. The court documents say that the other assets included in Nipsey's estate include a 2012 Chevy Suburban, along with interest in other business ventures. This also includes a Marathon clothing brand. Over the past few years, we saw Nipsey Hussle's estate and his brother Black Sam duke it out in court with Tanisha Foster, the mother of Imani, over her inheritance. She was fighting for custody and control of her inheritance. Ultimately, the court determined that she will share legal and physical custody with Nipsey's family. This all is happening as the Nipsey and Bino album is scheduled to come out, and apparently that album was recorded before Nipsey passed away. So it was a planned project already, which is, hey, at least we're getting something which is crazy, like 7-8 years later. But I get it because the state's having legal problems and they just want to probably iron things out. But yeah, that's the update on that. And, great news for the kids, and rightfully so, man. They should have at least 80 to 90% of the inheritance. I get the mother too a little bit, but yeah, shout out to Nipsey's brother for increasing his estate from $2 million to $11 million, which is really, really great, man. Shout out to his brother holding it down for Nipsey, and rest in peace to Nipsey, and shout out to all of his family. Hope they're doing well. NBA YoungBoy just decides to diss Future, take it back, and then disses him again. So let's go over this article. I don't really understand it, but hey, that's NBA YoungBoy for you. It feels like every so often NBA YoungBoy crashes out on the internet for one reason or another. Sometimes it's valid, other times it's not exactly. And his latest felt like an explosion of resentment that he's built up for quite some time. He recently lashed out on Future and Karlissa Saffold in 2 separate posts on social media. His issues with Karlissa Saffold seemingly stem from when she called him dumb something that he clearly took offense to, and she later apologized for. With Future, he called out an unnamed rapper who was releasing new music last night. "Fuck all y'all guys, and that other bitch-ass guy better not flop tonight, man," he said, which many ultimately presumed was about the Atlanta native. Ultimately, a phone call with Offset helped NBA YoungBoy turn the other cheek and offer an apology to both of them. After NBA YoungBoy wished Culture a happy birthday, Offset advised him to refrain from allowing his emotions get the best of him. Let's play this.
You know what I'm saying? First, we got to say, tell the world, we got to say happy birthday, Culture. It's the 10th, man. We got to wish baby Culture a happy birthday.
I just commented happy birthday, Culture.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate that, my brother. She gonna see this. I appreciate that.
I know, though, I really can't call this bitch, though, because I really don't like how you just got on my ass, you hear me?
Yeah, man, we pushing the money, and you know what I told you. You know what I mean? Don't let no nigga get you out your body. You know what I mean? We solid niggas. We do what's right to our family. You dig? At the end of the day.
No, on some G shit. I gotta stop that getting emotional shit, because I really let some other pussy ass shit hurt me. And that's what really got me back on this bitch going up, tripping. I have been doing great, bitch. You right, though. And I thank you for that. I apologize to you, and I apologize to them, too.
Yes, sir.
It's all good.
It's all
You
good.
right, though. You right.
It's all good. We living.
And
God is
I
good.
flashed out. I'm tripping. I flashed out.
We ain't doing that no more. We getting to it. We happy around this motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Real shit.
Real shit. We ain't let them nigga get up
Hey,
out our body.
you in Norway.
I'm in Norway.
That's where my main home at.
That's why I called you, bitch. I thought you was round the way.
I love you, bitch. Hey, I'm sorry. Say, oh, I flashed out. You got me feeling like a little dick right now. I flashed out, bitch. That wasn't
It's
gangster.
all
That wasn't
good,
gangster.
bitch.
I let some
It's
pussy
all
shit
good.
hurt me. And it got me back going. I gotta let that shit go. I love you, bitch. Happy birthday, coach.
I love you, bitch. We gone.
From there, you would think that Offset got to him, but literally after that, he started posting this right as Future dropped his album.
1, 2, 3. That's seconds. Oh, I'm stupid as bitch. You flop with your I ain't letting you slide. They better not get it up. You old ass bitch. You going in my antique closet, nigga. You. You thought you was gonna count me out too. You a nah, quit, Offset. On my daughter, I ain't gonna respond to none of them bitch no more. Tell them with me. All them.
Yeah, I think I think NBA YoungBoy does this really just to create buzz for himself. I don't think a lot of the stuff he really takes serious, but I don't know. We'll see. I guess Future might respond, maybe make a diss track, maybe just post something on social media. But I doubt this will be the battle of the century if it happens. But we'll keep you guys posted. William Roberts, a.k.a. Rose. I got to clown you once again, man. I always got to clown you because you are trying to get ahead of what's an inevitable flop on your album. And here's the thing. And I've said this on T.I.'s album. I've said this on any artist that's past their prime's album. I really don't care about album sales. If you've had your prime and you dominated, which Rick Ross never did, he had a buzz that was going, but he never was the top-selling artist, like ever. I think maybe he got lucky and got like top 15, but he's never been one of the top-selling artists of all time, like that year. Not of all time, but of that year. Like let's say 2010 when they were saying, his buzz is crazy, he's got BMF, all these records. Nah, he was probably, first week, he was probably the number 7, 8th, at best, to 12, 13. Maybe I can give him top 10, maybe. But even then, it's like the low top 10. It's 7, 8, 9, whatever. So when they're past their prime and they drop albums, I don't really care about sales. Never have. It's like you're past your prime. You prove that you could sell records in your prime. Who cares that 15 years down the line, you're not selling like you used to? And times have changed with streaming. Things have fluctuated. So it's doesn't really mean much to me that if an artist past their prime can't sell. Like I said, if Kanye drops, that was 150,000. Woohoo. Some people consider that a flop. Some people consider that a success. I could care less. Eminem drops, does 280,000. Some people consider that a flop. Some people consider it a success. I don't care. Right now, if Jay-Z were to drop an album and this shit did only 70,000 first week, who gives a fuck? I highly doubt. I think it would probably do over 100,000, but who cares? It's not that, like, it doesn't matter, man, at that point in their careers. Doesn't matter. So with Ross, he gets ahead of what potentially is going to be a flop for him. And the reason why I'm clowning this is because he shits on Drake. He shits on all these other people. And then when it comes time for him to perform, for him to do stuff, he's flopping left and right. The book wasn't in the top 10 bestsellers. I actually checked as the weeks went on to see if that book is a good seller. It wasn't. His tour is flopping. No tickets sold. Does these interviews shitting on 50 and Drake and saying that they're poor and they can't do this and they can't do that. They're not really that hot, blah, blah, blah. And now he had to push his album back from June because Drake was still dominating at number 1 weeks later and pushed it to mid-July. And now that it's getting ready to drop mid-July, he's like trying to save face. He says, I'm already paid before the albums come out, so I don't care what it sells. And that's just trying to save face. That's just trying to save from people clowning you from your shit flopping. Trying to get ahead of the curve because it's not going to perform well. You can see the numbers when you drop singles. People don't give really 2 fucks. So let's play the video.
But when it come to making moves, I'm telling you all this because I'm getting ready. I'm doing some, album shit, right? But for the ones that want to know, this album number 12, Rose, how are you always so confident when it come to your business? Because it go the way I wanted to go. My album come out, I'm already paid before the album come out. It's Rose. I don't know when them niggas sit on them podcasts doing all them little deals, I don't know what little niggas y'all talking to. The industry has changed, and guess what? As a boss, you put the number up there. This is what we gonna do, just to do business with me. I've sold records, nigga, for the last 20 years. You know what I do, not just for myself, but the entire brand. Rose paid. I pray y'all niggas get paid before the album come out, nigga, because when you put the album together, that's the work.
And there you have it. You know, he's just trying to get ahead of what the inevitable backlash is going to be. This album's maybe going to sell 20 to 30,000 copies first week, and people are going to clown him for it. I'm pretty sure 50 is going to jump in on clowning for it, which 50 doesn't really have much room to talk because 50, to be honest with you, he's scared to even drop an album because it might underperform. You know, so for him, I can't really defend him on that because the reason why he hasn't dropped an album is because he's worried that if he drops, this shit's going to sell like 20, 30,000 and it's not going to be a good look because he dropped Animal Ambition before streaming was really involved in terms of like album sales. He did 46,000 first week independent, which isn't that good, man, compared to what he's normally done. But, you know, with 50, I think if he actually took his time and actually packaged it, promoted it, dropped singles, shot videos, I think he could at the best do 100,000 first week, which would be a success in my eyes in today's climate. But ultimately, I wouldn't care. I just want a new album. I don't give a fuck about what an artist who's 10, 15 years past their prime, which is Ross, T.I., 50, Eminem, all these other artists, even Drake now. Like, who cares what these guys sell anymore? These guys are past their prime. I would look at sales for an artist that's new. That's when it's impressive. That's when it's something interesting that I care about. I don't give a fuck about these guys and what they sell. Who cares? This is the music dope. That's all that matters to me at this point. And that applies for even Ross. Even though I've trolled him, I don't like him. Not personally, but just who he is with the character of Ross and William Roberts and correctional officer and all that. Even though I troll that, if this album did 15,000, what do you like? So, you know, but the sad part is in this video, he's trying to save face because he knows the album's not going to perform well. So he's like, I already been paid. I'm a boss. I already have years of record sales. Yeah, one platinum album. That's your years of record sales. I can clown him on his past. That I can do. That in his prime, he wasn't selling millions and millions and millions of records like everybody was assuming. When after the 50 beef, Ross blew up, Ross this, Ross that. The guy never had a number one record as a lead artist, never had a number one even as a featured artist. That's the funny part too. And wasn't dominated even after the 50 beef. Yeah, he got hot a little bit. Yes, people were listening to more. But how did he get hot? He was surrounded by Lil Wayne and Drake. Shit, French Montana got hotter than him during that time and was selling more records than him. French Montana. And French at least got a number one hit record with that unforgettable Sway Lee. But yeah, just trying to save face, Rose. Trying to save face. But yeah, we'll keep our eyes posted on what the album sells. I think it's scheduled to release next Friday. So July, 17th, 18th. And we'll see what it does. And maybe it might be set in stone that Ross just will never have a double platinum album or will never have multiple platinum albums. Maybe that's set in stone, Ross. But yeah. Rose. Speaking of the music, there's been a lot of subliminal back and forth between Jadakiss and 38 Spesh. And it seems like Jadakiss is responding to 38 Spesh finally. And this I'm really interested in. I'm not really a big fan of 38 Spesh. He makes some pretty good music. He has songs here and there that I enjoy. But Jadakiss is a monster, man. As the years have gone on, I've gone on to appreciate Jadakiss a lot more. When he was beefing with 50, I didn't fuck with him because I was, 10 years old when they were beefing. So anybody that was against 50, I was against them. I didn't listen to their music. Now I'm a grown-ass adult. I could care less. I listen to what I like. And that applies to any artist that, who makes dope music. And Jadakiss, as the years have gone on, to me, hasn't gotten worse with music. He hasn't. He's just gotten better and better. He's maintained his dopeness, delivery, lyrics, bars, voice. He still sounds like the prime Jadakiss. Like, we have to really give Jadakiss his flowers because there are a lot of artists that as the years have gone on, they don't sound good anymore. Their music isn't hitting. The lyrics really ain't there anymore. And there's like 10 I can name off the top of my head, but I don't want to disrespect all these fan bases because there's a lot of them. There's a lot. whose voices have fell off, whose deliveries aren't there. They're still dropping music, and people are giving them fake responses to it. But Jadakiss is still delivering. Salute to him. He might be one of the best rappers out of New York, period. Yeah, he might not have the huge superstardom of hit records, but the guy can rap. The guy just simply, plain and simple, can rap. I don't recall the last time I heard a bad Jadakiss verse. I really don't. I can't. On the top of my head, I can't recall it. Because every time I've heard this guy on a record, he's killed it. So this 38 Spesh stuff is interesting because of the Jadakiss thing. It's putting him back in his bag, which he never really had to go back in his bag because he's always been in his bag. But it's giving him a little bit of new juice and hunger. And on the Joe and Jadakiss podcast, DJ Khaled, got on there and premiered a record with Jadakiss, Stove God Cooks, and Fat Joe called Aroma. And in the bars, Jadakiss says this: I've been obliterating rappers for years. Is this about a verse or is this about a career? This is going at 38 Spesh. So we'll see if 38 Spesh, obviously when it gets pushed to the media and people are saying, oh, it's a subliminal, 38 Spesh is going to respond to that. That's just how it goes. But let's go over a little bit of some of the history. So what did 38 Spesh say about Jadakiss? Some people don't want to be outshined on the record. To be honest with you, I did a record with Benny and Kiss, and I happened to have the best verse on the record. I smoked the record, and Kiss never did a song with me again. And I don't think he'll ever do a song with me again, he said. You got a chance to come to redeem yourself, Kiss. Come on, come outside. You've been ducking me since. Y'all going to have to reorder your top fives. So that was what 38 Spesh. And, Jadakiss said, hey, is this about, I've been obliterating rappers for years. Is this about a verse or is this about a career? Evidently, Jadakiss didn't take kindly to the call out. Shortly after that clip went viral, another clip surfaced online where Kiss the Game Goodbye rapper explained that he was heading back into the booth. I'm about to go in the lab. I'm about to do some samurai sorting, he said. You know what I mean? They asked for it. I tried to be a father, a businessman, but they want to bring me out of my element. Yeah, I remember seeing that video. But yeah, man, I hope a battle happens out of this. Just would be cool for hip hop, and nothing violent, nothing serious, just bars. I'd be interested in it, and I'd keep you guys updated on everything on it because this would be really, really dope. I think out of all the 50 Cent battles, as a huge 50 Cent fan, the only one where I can kind of be like, all right, 50 got clipped was Jadakiss. But at the end of the day, my 50 Cent side fan of me says 50 still is the bigger rapper. 50 still outshined, and did his thing. Bars-wise, music-wise, though, Jadakiss definitely spanked him. I mean, there's really nothing you can really say about that. And I need to do a 50 Cent versus Jadakiss video of who really won. That's been in my pipeline for a while, and I need to do it because it's long overdue. Maybe as this battles happen, I'm going to deep dive into that. I've been meaning to do documentaries for a while. I just been having so much shit happening that I have a few documentaries that are midway into me working on them. And I want to, finish those up and drop a lot more stuff. But I know I keep saying that. I promise, guys. Just give me a little bit more time. Let me iron some things out business-wise, and then I'll be back into doing that. But yeah, man, really interesting. I can't wait. Hopefully there's something that comes out of this. Jim Jones, here we go, man. Once again, he is stirring up some controversy, and he decided to appear on a podcast on Revolt. I forget the podcast name, with all due respect. I don't mean to disrespect this podcast name. I think it's some curse word is in it. That's why I forgot about it. But basically, this podcast is on Revolt, and Jim Jones ended up talking about just being a great rapper and how he's maintained relevance throughout all these years, and he feels like he can beat anybody in today's time musically, which any rapper should feel like, right? You should have ultimate confidence in what you do. Nothing wrong with that. But then the podcast called No Funny Shit. And on the podcast, then the guy mentions about, Dipset having every artist on Dipset having their own style. And then he talks about how even though Mase was the one that taught Jim Jones how to rap and how to do stuff, Jim Jones never really sounded like Mase still. He didn't pick up on everything that Mase did, which is great. Basically the hosts were saying it was so cool in the 90s and 2000s how every rapper had their own style. Now, everybody's the same. And then Jim Jones goes on to say that, yeah, Mase taught me how to rap, but that doesn't mean that, I rap exactly like him. He just taught me, details and intricacies and stuff like that. From there, then the conversation goes to Jim Jones is like, yeah, I could smoke Mase right now. But he's like, let me not do that because Mase is not a rapper currently. He's not like in the booth like that, and that's unfair. And then the guy throws in Fabulous, and Jim Jones is like, yeah, Fabulous is my guy because they do the podcast obviously together. And he's like, Fabulous motivates me, but he can get it too. And then the guy throws in Lloyd Banks, and this is where the disrespect comes. And Jim Jones goes on and basically clown Banks, says nobody's listening to his music and that he can smoke him alongside Mase. So check out the clip.
We didn't heard Jim say many times the same story. Yo, Mase taught me how to rap. Mase, but you don't sound like Mase. You sound way different. I feel like you sound different from all of them.
I mean, if somebody taught you how to play basketball, does that mean you're gonna play like them?
Somehow he's correct.
You know what I mean? It's just they taught you how to do something. Like somebody teach you how to ride a bike, and you're gonna ride the bike like that.
Yeah.
Bro, like
Yeah.
it's teaching the mechanics of what it takes to become whatever it is they teaching you and shit like that. And that's what Mase did. He was able to break it down in a layman's term where I understand how to make music moving forward. That didn't mean I was good at it. I understand the science, and then after that, I had to work on the science, and I'm still working on the science.
Still is. Yo, Jim.
But I smoke Mase boots right now.
Oh, man. Beth.
Now, let me stop. Them niggas don't even rap like that no more. Me picking on them in the booth right there be like me. That'd be just what it be. It'd be picking on them and to do. I mean, like they not ready. They ain't. I mean,
we don't need this for the town, man. We don't need this for the town, man.
I'm trying to be. I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm just saying, I don't want to be like bullying nobody in the booth and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, for my era.
It's some lyrical niggas.
That, for my era, who? Right now.
Lyrical?
Right now. Tell me.
Damn, he
and got some recent shit.
Oh, recent shit.
No, just I'm saying, like, what you gonna keep going on the old shit?
You my man.
I just want to know what we doing. Because we keep going on the old shit, then we can keep going on my old shit. You heard?
Fab got you.
Fab is my bro. I don't even get into that. Fab is one of my favorite rappers.
I ain't
but
that.
even with Fab, like I'm ready for all battles. He know that. And every time we go in the booth, it's like extra homework for me. Like, damn, this nigga.
You better than
crazy.
Banks?
Huh?
You better than Banks?
Banks?
Yeah.
You listen to Banks right now?
When I'm in the gym, 315.
His old music?
Nah, now.
What he got?
He be dropping. He
He got some shit right now?
Don't do that to Banks. You gonna have Banks come up here.
Y'all listen to his shit, right? I'm just
Jim.
Obviously, he said so. I'm asking y'all. Don't start pointing at him. I'm asking y'all.
They lying.
They
leave.
Do you like? He got a new record out right now.
He got a new tape.
His voice changed, Kay.
How many?
He dropped consistent. He dropped like you.
We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Out of 8 people right now, y'all got y'all know what he talking about?
I ain't hear Banks.
He dropped like you. That's what's crazy.
I ain't know it came out.
All right. Now, out of these 8 people, y'all know that I'm about to drop, or do y'all know some shit that I just finished dropping or anything?
Yeah.
We know.
Shit.
What the fuck are we talking about then?
You right. But
lyrical.
You want some lyrical shit.
Lyrical what? I box him up. You listening to the shit I'm talking about?
I hear you.
How make you feel when you go outside? Make you feel like you want to do crime and do some other shit, right? Like, you dig? That's what music's supposed to do for you, right?
You right.
How many entendres you niggas want to hear before you figure it out? You dig? Like, I don't understand.
Oh, okay.
And then it's a cadence, like...
Yeah.
Music's supposed to make you feel a type of way, right?
Yeah.
Emotion.
I'm not taking away niggas' skill of rap at all. Be dead nice.
Right.
Cadence is still off. You heard? I'm only laughing because I caught that. I know how to switch my cadence for the kid to feed it to this generation where they understand it the way they understand all the other music. Not so much with the rest. It's still sounding like before the kids was born, and they don't understand that.
And his voice.
A nigga might say Banks not rapping for the kids though.
Then what the fuck you rapping for?
He got his audience.
He got his audience. That's cool. I'm with that.
Yeah.
I'm cool. I'm with that. I'm with all of that. That's not for me though. You heard?
Yeah.
I'm still out here trying to actively get to it. You dig? I'm fresh off a gold record a couple years ago. I'm trying to get another gold record off this album right here. Like, I'm still in the game. I'm not trying to do no nostalgic rap. I'm out here really got motion in real time. You dig? Even though I'm outside. You heard? I didn't put no Asian on it. I'm outside. When I feel like, yo, tap out, I'm going to tap out gracefully.
And there you have it. There's one thing that I agree with, though. Obviously, Jim Jones can't out-rap Lloyd Banks by any means of the stretch. In my mind, Banks is one of the best rappers, period, that's ever existed, to me, lyrically. The other thing is, obviously, shitting on Banks and saying that, like, hey, nobody cares about the music, blah, blah, blah. I get that to a certain extent. Banks is feeding a certain fan base. But this is the part where I agree with Jim Jones, is that he's talking about cadence and finding a pocket that caters to the newer audience as well. Now, you can make records for your older audience, but when you're stuck just making records for your older audience, you don't get brought up in conversations in today's world and time musically. And that's where Banks is stuck at. Banks, and I actually had this conversation with Banks a while ago, where the music is still New York boom bap, and I get it, right? To a certain extent, that's fine. You're feeding that fan base. They're enjoying it. I was enjoying it to a certain extent. But after a while, switch the sound up, bro. Do some modern music. Do something that's different, fresh. And this is what hurts me, is Banks can do that easily. Think about this. When 2009 was coming around, 50 dropped Before I Self-Destruct. The music was catering more to the hardcore audience, fan base, boom bap, New York, whatever. The old gritty hip hop, more on Before I Self-Destruct. That's cool. It feeds a certain fan base. They like it. They enjoy it. Fine. But G-Unit was slowly starting to phase out as a label. The artists weren't trending. People didn't care. I know, because I was in high school at that time. Nobody gave a fuck about 50, Banks, Yayo, anything G-Unit, didn't care. Now, what happened in 2010? Banks brought a breath of fresh air into G-Unit, dropping Beamer, Benz, and Bentley. It was a new, modern, fresh sound. And all of a sudden, I was a kid at the time. I was 14, 15 years old. Everybody in my high school was G-Unit, G-Unit, G-Unit. This Banks record is amazing. And Banks was holding, this is the sad part, Banks was the flag carrier for G-Unit. He was putting that new, fresh sound into G-Unit, which needed to happen. G-Unit was struggling. After 2007, it was becoming a point where the sound wasn't fresh, it wasn't modern, it wasn't hip. Banks was doing that. And he did that for a couple of years and was having major success. Cold Corner 2 is a mixture of that New York sound, but more of that fresh sound that Banks was going towards. And then because of some Trinidad James comment where he was like, New York doesn't sound like New York anymore, everybody's following the South, he decided to scrap a project that sounded more like the South and just do New York shit. And since then, he hasn't been off it. It's just been straight New York. And I get it, Banks. I love the New York sound. There are projects that I love from you that you dropped since 2020 with The Course of the Inevitable, 1, 2, and 3. Love it. But after a while, it's like, bro, switch up the sound. I don't want to hear this shit anymore. I don't. And I'm a huge Banks fan. But at a certain point, it's like, feed the other audiences as well. Course of the Inevitable, 1, 2, and 3 could have been this. The first one could have been feeding the boom bap, New York, gritty sound, right? Cool. Project comes out, dope. The second one should have been, all right, let me feed the more modern sound. Let me get some more hit type of records on there. And then the third one could have been a hybrid of both, or just do Back to New York. But don't just have New York sounding records back to back to back to back to back. So that's where I agree with Jim Jones, is like, he's like, I'm trying to get a gold record. I'm trying to be still in talks with the modern sound of music, but still, you could still feed your audience. You don't have to cater to the kids all the time. Nobody's saying to switch up your sound and not be your authentic you. But to just drop New York boom bap, like back to back to back, that shit backfires after a while. It's great from the beginning, but people get tired of it, bored of it. And that's why, sad to say, Banks isn't in these conversations and people are clowning him and starting to, I hope this next project that Banks drops is more modern sound. And I hope he actually addresses some of these guys. That would be my dream. It would be like Eminem's Kamikaze. Like, go in the studio, do a modern sound, and prove to people that, hey, I can do this. It's not that hard. And then you drop that project, go back to boom bap, New York, if you want to. But just give us a somewhat of that. Do a Cold Corner 3 with that sound. Something of that. You know, that's my wish of it. So I agree with Jim Jones there. That part I agree with, but him out battling Banks, never in a million years. I can bet, like I said, my whole house on it. That would never happen. And I like, you know, Jim Jones is confident. He's just talking about, you know, his career. He wants to, you know, say he's the best, obviously. You know, every rapper says that. There's no slight to that, but yeah, he would nowhere near be Banks. There's just nothing. There's nothing there. Yeah, that's my take on it. Let me know what you guys think. Let's get into new music. We already covered album sales and Billboard Hot 100 on the last podcast episode because of how late I recorded it into the day that all that got updated last week. So I already covered it. So now we're just going to be talking about new music, and really what's the major release is Future's new album, The Real Me. I haven't checked it out yet, but that's out there. It's doing its thing online. ESTG dropped Call Spitta. Ken Carson dropped Cartoons, which is another album that might be one of the newer generation artists that's actually killing it out there. The sales on there is probably going to be crazy. The Dream Love Hate album, the second one, which is a follow-up to his classic that a lot of people consider a classic. J. Cole Birthday Blizzard is now on streaming platforms, so you don't have to wait to purchase and blah, blah, blah. Juicy J and Project Pat dropped Dem Goats album, and then French Montana Max B dropped Ever Since You Left Me, the Lil Kim freestyle version of that. So check out that new music. And that's it for today's episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast. As always, appreciate you guys. Spotify, Deezer, Podcast, YouTube, all that. Have an amazing night, day, whenever you listen to this, and peace.